one thing with DJs and pro audio. DJs don't share information with each other. And today, we're going to be talking about processors, or in other words, digital loudspeaker management systems. Every sound system in 2025 has a processor. You have to have some type of processor in your audio rack. Let me get some juice into these equipment because this hasn't come on in maybe months, maybe since Carnival, because we just not getting no work. Every DJ find that in 2025 as well. First off, you see the last time this actually didn't work. Let me zoom into this and show you guys this. Juve morning boy. Proper. Every processor going to at least consist of 4 channels. 1, 2, 3, 4. Essentially, what a processor does is send tight frequencies and specific frequencies to every different amplifier. The amplifier knows output this frequency into the speakers. People actually pay for other people to do this to their system just to get a level of clarity. And in a nutshell, each processor has almost 5 important things. That's all you need to touch. Your gain, your delay, which is not necessary because we're not doing no concert, right? Of course, your high pass frequencies, your low pass frequencies, your EQ, which is your parametric EQ, all right? And most important, your limiter, so you won't catch a fire. This here is one of my goal series. This here is a goal to me, which I would never be selling because for some reason, this processor, almost everybody start up with a DBX 260. This could put this, or bring anything and it will put it to shame with the proper this. Because back then, people never used to use this. People used to use this. And why everybody always talking about, boy, back then, if you hear them music used to song, them super scoop, them double 15 used to slam, you never used to be using this on that. You only used to be using manual thing, analog thing, graphic equalizer, and crossover, and compressor, and things. So if you guys enjoy these videos, all them, as much as DJs like to share information, they also don't like to share other people's posts. Press that share button and don't bite. I'm gonna start doing podcasts, and while we're doing podcasts, I would also like to also help educate and share information on sound system. Everybody will be able to at least know some type of education with sound system. A processor is supposed to have 3 to 2 inputs, right? For example, this has input A, input B, all right, and then you have 6 some processors like the XTAs and the BSS, the cheaper versions like these two here comes with 4. Some has 8, some has 4. I personally like the 4 channel outputs because it's easier to manage. For example, this drive rack setup here, this is my back stack, this is my side stack, and this is my emergency. And of course we have this big bottom, which I mean as a Trinidadian, so the quality of Trinidad sound system is monkey see, monkey do. Everybody using big bottoms. I say, you know what, let me go and get a big bottom. I use big bottom, I find like it didn't do nothing to the system. I was like, you know what, this will just be as an ornament here. You come a little closer. So with the processor, you can see, I hope all you can see, all right? This is the gain here. Now, obviously, you match your gain to your amplifier outputs, right? Obviously, the more gain, the louder the system, the louder the speaker would play, the louder the output of the amplifier. This basically is a gain. What I recommend people to do is raise your channel amplifiers all up. So if you could turn this, like for example, watch this knob, right? You could turn that all up, set your gain to the last minus, which will be minus 40 or minus 10 or minus 20, whatever processor you're using, and then use this gain to control your processor. That free knowledge I know give all here. People just pay 1,500, 2,000 for man to do that in the system. If all they want to pay me to tune on the system, no problem. So then you have your delay. People, when they're doing music truck, you do not need to delay. Alright? If you put your tops and front your subs, you do not need to delay. Delays are using concerts, delays using stadiums. When you have a system, front of house, and then 100 feet behind for general crowd, you have a next system. Obviously, the time a song, the system that playing in general, which is 100 feet away from the stage, right, would play closer to your ear, which will result in the stage sounding slower. So the delay is basically time alignment, which calculates and keep that song as one crip song. See, hey, you're not talking about tops and front of subs and music truck. You're not treat on me talking about no type of whole trailer with side stack and all kind of different thing and different box on. Hey, we talking about subs in front of tops. You do not need to delay that. Fight, man. So the polarity now, I basically understand polarity with regards to if black in red and red in black, all I come in to do in my processor now is turn this from positive to negative. Alright, so this is basically if you have a cancellation in your system, this can also help you a lot with polarity. All right? Let me talk about high pass frequencies. Usually high pass frequencies is the one on the left hand side, right? So for example, if I did put on the DBX, you guys would see it on the left hand side. So I have channel 1 right now, which is my bass output, and you guys can see it starts at 41. Some people, right, who like or who maybe have money to bond speaker, just use the bass as low as 35. I prefer going anywhere between 40. It's just a safe space for me, all right? And then your low pass frequency is come on the right hand side now, right? You see me slow hitting right now, right? I have mine at 99. Some people use theirs at 80, but I just for some reason like that more punch bass. I like the mixture. Again, it depends on the box using. Certain boxes can't even reach up to 99. Certain boxes even go as low as 20. So you may be seeing things like butterwork and bezels. All these different things is things you could play with, and you could, for example, you see there's 24 decibels. These things are responsible for how much the curve cuts. So for example, the lower the curves I find is for some reason give a lower bass. And now we back to the parametric EQ now. So basically this here is your frequency where you want to interfere with, right? This is a quantity and this here is a gain structure. So the quantity basically is like, again, the slope, right? And the slope basically, this is your frequency quantity adjustment here. This could basically adjust how wide or how tight you want this frequency to be affected. So even though it says 40, this affecting all the way to almost 80, right? And again, the more gain you put on the graph, that's going to be raising literally big like this. You understand? All right, and the parametric EQ and processors. So for example, this is a parametric EQ, right? This is a 31 band graphic equalizer. A parametric EQ is a digital equalizer basically, and it's more tighter. It controls one band. So you see it's saying 40.9, right? This is 40 here. This one thing is 40. But if I keep raising this and I make my quantity of my 40 frequency wider, right? That's going to affect from 40 to 80, or depends on which part you put it, from 40 to 20. Now, that is also one of the reasons why we evolved and went into these digital computers. Reason being, if you had to, like for example, if you want to do frequency adjustments for your bass only, you would need to take out all at this, and just control your bass and your low frequencies alone. All right, so this is the reason why people gravitate towards this. So you might have to get two. There's dual band 31 band equalizers where you could be able to do that, but for faster and less wires and less headache. And then the next thing with these things is that these things could break. I was wondering, you know, if this fall long and this not break, all hell break loose. And basically we come into end now because we reach limiters so far. Your limiter basically controls the amount of volume is outputted. So your limiter could either keep your volume real tight, have your limiter less frequent. So your limiter could just be going, like for example, when you go into the peak of your system, right before your arms press red, you could have that limiter set to just send back down just so and maintain that volume. There's also something called a gate and a compressor as well. That is familiar to a limiter. Alright, so if you guys enjoy these videos, we're going to be doing a real nice cool thing. Planning to do podcasts, we're planning to do talks, bring some celebrity DJs or some guys who are actually in the market right now and teach like marketing and how to charge and prices. We even can talk about prices though, because you see that price thing in this DJ system, this little thing alone, that player and a S-Nag and a mixer, you know how much money that is? Imagine you crying that and the pay you're getting from your work is not even a fraction of the price of your laptop. Come on. A good laptop now is $10,000 and all they're doing music truck for $1,500. How would that making sense, dog? I don't find that makes sense. You understand? So all that kind of back and all that kind of tea, all I can be in this podcast, we coming up with a name, we coming up with a thing. This is the introduction video. Hoping you guys enjoy this. I beg you know to share, no hard feelings, share anything. That I got no solid work. Just share anything. If you guys want to, share information on whatsoever, this going to be the next best podcast in Trinidad and Tobago, DJ World.